Yeah, so you guys missed us. What's up, Steven? We couldn't do our stream on Sunday because we were out in Vegas watching ADCC, which we hope you guys got to watch as well. It was really, really exciting. There were some just absolutely amazing matches.
Fireworks the whole weekend. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Major upsets on Saturday, like early on, injuries and everything. And then, Sunday was crazy too. I mean, yeah, no other word, just crazy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys, anyone who did watch it, like, if there was some stuff you guys want to go over or mimic, Gordon Ryan's 11-second heel hook, Craig Jones's, what was it, 18-second heel hook I think he got. We definitely have a lot of footage to go over, just among ourselves as far as studying some of these matches. So maybe one day we could do it on here, although I have a feeling we'd get a copyright strike. So anyway, we'll figure something out for that. But in the meantime, we have footage from a little ways back. I think I pulled this from August 22nd. It was some No-Gi Monday footage that we never went over for whatever reason. So let's get into that. Looks like Danny and Austin are starting it off for us. Behind the pillar, of course. Austin looking like he was trying to pull into legs there. A la Gordon and Roosevelt Souza. Cam immediately attacking Cole. Almost getting a takedown on him too. And Danny savagely going for Kimura. Let's look at that one more time. So Danny's got his knee shield up, and Austin's kind of working this. This is like a pretty loose half guard that Danny has from the bottom position. But yeah, Danny pretty easily isolated the arm there. I feel like even now, Austin watching this would see like we wouldn't see him doing that too much, like isolating his own arm like that.
Right.
And granted, this was almost exactly a month ago. Using it to good effect to get a sweep. And then taking top position. Austin's like, you pretty much, I think if you're going to Kimura Austin, you have to have like a wrong way triangle or something set up to control his head and shoulders. Because he's so bendy that there's just way too much movement for him. Is Danny just flexing? Steven. Mean mugging the camera. What was that?
Making sure the camera's on.
That's right. What's up, Deathcore?
What's up, Deathcore?
Hell yeah, bruh. Dude, I can't wait to rock the ADCC rash guard that we copped at the tournament. I hope the Rashi's holding up for you, man. We definitely didn't go with a cheap supplier on those.
They're Kamanu, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So Steven breaks him down but doesn't have the knee, so doesn't have a good threat there. I think we got James back there too.
James
with Danny.
Daniel.
Or Daniel, yeah. Good. James gets to watch himself tonight. It's awesome, man. I'm happy. I'm happy to that really makes me happy to hear that you're you're repping our school. You're still the only one who's like ever reached out about purchasing stuff. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Thank you.
Hey, every time they ask, say, check them out at twitch.tv/MooresvilleBJJ. I really do. I want to get like a shirt that has a QR code on it that like I can just wear to tournaments and people will like scan it without me knowing and find our channel and be like, ooh,
Yeah.
I'm going to give this guy my Twitch Prime. Stunkin doing a lot here to try to control the legs as he works to close distance and get around them. Yeah. Ooh, ripping that knee up.
How's the neck feeling, James?
So I want to go back to Daniel and James here. Is Daniel working the legs? Such a like super simple pass here, right? He gathers up the legs. He's not on a body lock right now. He's basically on a double leg, right? But he's already James has already been taken down. And notice at the knees the way Daniel's controlling this, the simple little hop he does is like plenty to get around the legs and then start driving the knees across, or in this case, Daniel's just kind of pressuring into his hips, does his patented rollover. But yeah, something to tighten that up a bit, just so you don't have to. I know that this roll through works for Daniel pretty well. But something that, an alternative thing you could do here is as you jump by, get your knee, like, Daniel's right knee in this case, crowd underneath James's knees and get his knees pointing in this direction. That way, James can't easily, or James can't turn into you, right? Like, James is doing a good thing here of like, trying to post to the hip. I'd like to see the right foot elevated as he tries to drive his knee into back into guard, like underneath Daniel's hips here. Yeah, so he kind of sneaks it in there for a second. Like I said, this roll works for Daniel more often than not, but you could be just completely controlling, especially at his size, completely controlling over the hips as you kind of climb up the body. Steven with the single leg. That was like one of Luke's finishes that he likes to do, where he's got the forehead right in the neck.
Yep.
And then pulling the head down as you just drive through, picking the leg up.
Yeah, I like that one.
Whoa, okay, missing a lot. And now we have new ones with Alva Fitness to do the drop shipping. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't tried those out, but they look awesome.
Yeah, somebody just got theirs recently. But yeah, if you guys want any merch, definitely check out Alva Fitness. I think it's just alvafitness.com. And we're a school of, like, I don't know if it's like under affiliated schools or like sponsored schools or something like that. But really good quality stuff. Before I keep talking, let's go back and see here. Oh, that might be why your neck hurts, James. Daniel has a really pretty devastating north-south strangle.
Glad to hear you'll be back soon, man. That's awesome.
just being dramatic with some nerves being impinged on, causing shooting, paralyzing pain. Camden.
Nice.
Let's look at that again. So, eager little guy. So Duncan's got the whizzer, lowers his head a bit, right? Gets his head below Camden's armpit, which is, you know, not a great thing to do, but I'm sure Duncan's kind of letting him work. So the way you take him over here, Cam, not terrible. I mean, like that right there, you flop over, which I'm going to continually yell at you for every time I see you do it. You should have been able to come up into mount from that position right there. If you end up in half guard, that's fine too, but like you can continue attacking the guillotine. You know, that's a good way to keep Duncan from like working on trying to further crawl up your leg. As far as like, see, like right there, he's pushing your leg down. If your neck, if Duncan's neck was under attack here, more seriously, he's obviously going to have his hands up defending his neck, not pushing Camden's legs down between his own. It was a good attempt. Now you get Duncan's fury. You got Danny just trying, or no, is that Joe? I think that's Joe trying to strangle Brandon up there.
I think so.
Yeah, let's look back at this, see how they got here. Is there a good takedown, or looks like Brandon kind of lost his footing. Maybe a little trip from Joe.
Yeah, it was like an outside, like a foot trip. That was pretty cool.
That happened really fast. Okay, so I think it looks like he's got a lot of pressure up top, like he's pulling Brandon's head kind of down and out that way. And then just takes the feet out. So let's see how he gets by here. So he's got a little leg lace going on. And then shucks Brandon's collar tie right off. Nice. Let's see what Duncan does with this standing guard break. Stand up nice and tall. There we go. Work into a pass.
Awesome.
All right. Just getting back, disengaging, getting back to passing from an open guard. Nice little knee cut.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was that?
With an underhook.
That's what I was just gonna check if he established it before he went, or
Arm was up really high on Camden.
yeah.
It's like across his body, basically.
Yeah, so Camden's kind of got his not kind of, he has his left arm trapped here. So not quite an underhook per se, but definitely he hasn't given up the underhook himself, which is really the important thing. Is that Doug, I think? Doug and Austin up here? I haven't seen Doug in a while.
I do not know.
I think he was there for a couple classes in August. So James, next week we're focusing purely on snap downs. I just want you to know that. Just gonna attack the shit out of your neck. Joe working to a really high mount here. It looks like he's in a mounted triangle, almost. He's got the arm out, but he doesn't have his legs in a triangle position. So it's like a mounted kind of head and arm. Okay, he hasn't slipped that arm out completely yet. I think Brandon knew he was in enough trouble.
Yeah. Quick tap. Nothing wrong with that.
I like what I'm seeing from Joe here, trying to just
bug the feet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It always kind of feels good when you can get the guy who's standing over you trying to beat you up to just keep backing up and keep backing up.
Sick what Austin just did. That was a lot of, I mean, that was like textbook
hip bump.
Hip bump to a triangle. Watch this. So he's got a collar tie, hip bumps over, switches immediately, tosses the leg over. Textbook, like, I actually really like how he got the same side collar tie instead of doing the traditional over the far shoulder hip bump sweep.
Yeah.
He uses the near side collar tie to set it up. So he plants, and then you see, we'll call him Doug if that's his name.
I believe that's Doug.
Hand plant on the mat, his right hand. Austin plants his left hand on the mat, and then you'll see him extract his left leg and heist it over top of the shoulder, and then come back into a trap triangle, then locks up to a full triangle. Boom.
He didn't even hit the trap. He just
yeah.
His legs are so damn long.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And then Joe here with a triangle of his own, except it's a reverse triangle.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I thought he was trying to enter into the legs here with like kind of an like inverted. Yeah, exactly. Like he was trying to get up and over. Joe, I don't, this was a month ago, so I don't know if you remember what your intentions were here. But that settles for control up top. It's not a full triangle yet, just because it's just crossed ankles. But it's certainly controlling enough to get Brandon off balance here. He didn't lose that one, man. Nice work on the Americana too. I was just talking about those with Bertram yesterday. And I think, I don't know, I'm sure I've said it on stream before. Oh yeah, a long time ago, when I was trying to like break Kurt's arm, I think we were talking about it. But like Americanas are great when you have control over the opposite arm as well. So in this case, Brandon's left arm, the one that isn't being attacked right now, like that's got to be pinned and controlled too, because otherwise Americanas are pretty easy to defend. I think every upper belt in chat knows that, once you get past white belt, nobody really ever hits Americanas on you anymore. They use, I know I like to use them. We like to use them for taking the back and things like that, threatening things so that you give up other stuff. But you shouldn't sleep on them. You just got to think about, how can I pin the secondary arm, right? It could be from side control with the shin pin. It could be in a mounted crucifix, like a top side crucifix, like Joe's doing here. Now Brandon can't reach across his body with his free hand to save his arm with his free hand. He also can't bring his body, or it's going to be really hard for him to bring his body to the arm to try to bring it in front of his body, relative to his chest. So don't sleep on the Americana. Just make sure you have the right setup and you can absolutely hit it. I think that's, I know people kind of give Gabby Garcia shit from some of her ADCC wins from the past, like when she won. But she often, there's so much footage of her hitting Americanas. But like, even if she's significantly bigger than some of her opponents, they work because the opponent can't defend the arm once it's flattened out. They can't reach across to save it. So it's still a perfectly viable technique.
It's a really nice ankle pick up to the full single leg.
Yeah, I'll stop talking.
Boom.
That was a great...
on it that day. Dude, that was great.
And notice, like, this is cool. So, you know, Joe's scooting forward here, tracking down Brandon. But look at the leg position switch. So Joe goes from having his heels on the ground in front of his butt. Then when he decides he wants to hit the ankle pick, he's gonna go for it from his left. So he pulls his left heel to his butt. That allows him to get up and start to come up for the finish. One little thing, Joe, to think about when you're hitting ankle picks, in no-gi, like, or no, I shouldn't even, it's not even a gi no-gi thing. It's a standing ankle pick versus seated ankle pick. There's something to consider here. When you hit a standing ankle pick, normally this arm is controlling the neck, right? So you've broken posture, and it prevents them from turning out and running away from the ankle pick. So using an outside hand on the ankle, perfectly permissible. They can't turn to their left where your hand doesn't have, you know, a hook or like a block, right? When you're seated, you don't have the ability to reach up and grab the head, so they can turn out of this. A really good way to shut that down, or at least try to prevent it, is using your opposite hand. So with standing ankle picks, you can go to the outside of the ankle. With seated ankle picks, try to hit the inside of the ankle. You'll notice when you do it that as they go to turn out, their toes basically, like the top of their foot, is wedged against your forearm, so it's harder for them to pull out. Again, it worked here, great. It's just something to consider. If you find that people are starting to turn out of those pretty easily on you, that's the reason why. Duncan just bullying Camden. If Camden's got a free hand here, this cross shoulder post he's doing isn't going to do him any favors. He needs to get that to the hip, or at the very least try to break the grip on the other hand, and then start framing up the hips. It's too bad Brandon didn't see Austin's hip bump sweep to triangle.
Yeah, right.
He's right there for it. And it's also too bad Brandon isn't familiar enough yet with some leg entrances. Because he does a good job here to get Joe's hands to the ground, which is great for a cross-ashi entrance from here, from like a reverse X guard. But his right leg is trapped. He hasn't brought that down, so looks like the wheels are turning for him on thinking about leg entrances, which is a good sign. Joe just barreling through him. I think Austin's pretty much just dominated Doug in this round the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we missed anything there after that triangle. So they get up from there. I think Austin works. How does he get around the back here?
Steps around the half guard. Oh, no, he's
on bottom. Okay.
Yep.
Even then, let's see, I guess. Oh, yeah. So perfect case of getting both arms across the center line. You can see right here, Doug's arms are on one side of Austin's body, leaving full back exposure for Austin. So Austin switches his hips out, takes control up top, and goes to work. Let's go ahead. And then it looks like it was just a battle of hand fighting there.
Mm-hmm.
Gets the arm trap. Good stuff. I don't think he got the strangle. So cool. Kudos to Austin here. He got the arm trapped with the leg. he then controls the opposite arm, the unleg trapped arm, with his control hand. And then you could see how he's starting to dig in under the neck here, trying to get across, blading his hand, and just ran out of time. No mercy, Joe. This was before Danny and Cole decided to compete this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like they still had that competitive spirit in them. Who's Steven going with? Is that?
Caleb?
Oh, it's Caleb, yeah. Hits that same single leg finish again. Nice.
Yep.
Cole's got to work to get that lockdown off of him.
Danny did a really good job there of that, what we talk about for guard retention, the knee-elbow connection. So, you know, Cole comes around, he hooks the leg here, and you can see that Danny almost thinks about leaving, you know, the elbow and knee connection here. But he doesn't, right? He stays pretty steadfast here. And watch what happens as Cole is attempting to establish a mount. So on the right side of Danny's body, left side of Cole's, he's on the hip, like he's above the hips, no problem. But the connection with Danny's knee and elbow prevents Cole from being able to establish a full mount. So he's technically in a half guard here, or some sort of open guard still, because he's got a knee in. So what's he do? He uses that elbow and fishes under, or pummels his left leg on the outside to get himself into an actual half guard here, and then locks up the that lockdown on that far leg. So like when we talk about and rant about the
help relieve some of this.
What's that?
I said which can help relieve some of this that's happening here.
Pressure, terrible. Yeah. But yeah, when we talk about, for guard retention, the knee elbow connection, I think that just shows the power of it in action.
Yeah, it's a strong frame. Really tough one to disrupt.
Cole did not like that.
No.
But then sweeps immediately back into a mount. And again, take note of where the elbow and knee is, where his elbow and knee is located, and they're not touching at that time, which means that Cole can slip over top of the hips and establish a mount. So he tries to get his left elbow down, but Cole is digging under with his right arm. He actually comes under the tricep and pulls it up to prevent Danny from making that connection.
Yeah, and he's like, when he's pinning that arm, he's like wedging his hips in ahead of the knee, so that, yeah, it's a nice little detail. Looks like he's digging for that gift wrap. There it is.
And then hopefully we'll see that left. I would have liked to see that knee come up higher before he takes the back, but it definitely, he used his right arm to drag Danny on top of him.
Yeah.
To complete the turn.
Yeah, and then notice this little hip shift he does here. A lot of people get a little too lazy in this position where they think they have the back, really Danny just has his shoulders to the mat, which is not back control. So Cole using that long hook that he has, that which is really Danny captured that leg before Cole took the back or started to take the back. Now he's using that hook to kind of pull himself underneath further and get better aligned down Danny's center line. Danny's doing a great job of disrupting the legs, though. Cole up on the Katagatame. Let's look at that real quick, that transition. So Cole is using double underhooks here, right? He doesn't have a strangle arm. The benefit of that is it makes it harder for Danny to turn and for Danny to get his shoulders to the mat. But Danny's disrupted the legs, so he can turn at the hips and start working his way out. Problem is, as he starts to turn, since Cole has those underhooks, as he turns, if he doesn't beat Cole's head with beat Cole's head to a better arm position, Cole just comes right around to the head and arm triangle here. So sometimes when you're on the back, double underhooks can be very useful. It takes away the rear naked strangle for you. You can't strangle somebody that way, at least in no-gi. But it can lead to other things if you think you're gonna have to bail on the back. Did Steven and Caleb one of them get a finish here?
Guillotine.
Looks like Steven got a nice little guillotine, yeah. Happy little guillotine. See if he's looking for the same single leg.
Whips him down.
I think Cole knows a little bit better now after some recent rolling and technique work, the utility of the double unders that Danny is almost just giving him right now. Cole's working with a single underhook at the moment. Gets a straight arm.
Can you go back? I think James just hit a knee lever. He was on his back.
Before?
Yeah.
Oh,
here. So comes in, doesn't have a knee shield at all, and then basically wraps up in it's not a knee lever. This is kind of like the John Wayne sweep, right? His left knee finds the ankle of Brandon, right? And then the right, so yeah, left knee finds the ankle, and then right leg pins under or shifts underneath the shin below the knee, above the foot but below the knee, right on the shin. And then once you lock this grip up, it's a simple turn of the hips that off balances and pops Brandon on his back. Boop, like that.
Yeah, and then shooting for that deep hat, like the scoop grip on the leg, doesn't hurt either. Yeah, you could see that finish with the scoop grip like James did it. You could do it with a tight waist grip coming up from bottom half guard. It's another good option.
Steven's on the neck again.
Oh, looks like Caleb's getting safe. Danny and Cole are... Okay. Thought I missed something there.
All right, so for what it's worth here, when Danny pops up here, when Danny pops up, slightly before this, this is just a pure timing play, right here. So he's gonna come under. I want to see where his right hand goes. I feel like his right hand has underhook potential here.
Right here.
Yeah, I think it's underhooked.
It looks like Cole's reaching over the back without the underhook.
If this is the case, then, and I don't know if Danny's watching tonight or not, or if he's going to watch the stream, but that, with the, like when he clears Cole's left leg, that left hook, there's knee cut all day. Like right here, he should be able to knee cut all the way across instead of bothering with that leg with his right hand. He should be able to knee cut all the way through that hook.
So you mean with his right leg, drive the knee down instead of like...
Down, yep, down and to the left.
Yeah.
Using the right hand to scoop underneath, you know. I mean, he winds up in the same position that I would think that he could get into. I was just thinking that it would be much easier instead of hopping and stuff to just drop your weight, switch your hips, and cut through.
Yeah.
With the knee cut pass.
Yeah, and then from here, so yeah, with the knee cut, with winning the scramble like you just did, however he gets there, he does something real lazy here, which is just trying to step over. It almost looks like he wanted to go back to half guard, right? He already passed Cole's guard. It was a real half-assed attempt to get either to mount, which I assume is what he wanted, or, you know, knee on belly or whatever. So, you know, take the time here to establish a good side control. Like, one thing you can notice, you know, Danny in this position, is Cole is bear hugging you, right? So that means his elbows are away from his torso, right? So you can establish a very solid hip position. Cole's going to find himself reaching up to bear hug you, and you're going to be completely across his shoulder line, and he will have no inside position on you, where he, you know, no frames to work with. So that's a bad thing for Cole. Rather than trying to scramble into mount from here, take the time to set up a good side control. You could work your side control attacks. You could work on countering his attempts to frame you, and use those as opportunities to get into mount. You know, you could walk behind his knees and get his knees pointing in this direction. There are just all sorts of things from here. So, like, take your time in these positions, establish a good controlling, you know, top cross-side position, and then progress from there. Because now you've got to work to get your leg free, and, like, you know, it may be easy, you know, if once you get your knee free, you may not have too much trouble, but it's just one more step now that you've got to take care of.
If you were in a points competition, you wouldn't have established, like, that wouldn't be considered a guard pass, right? You had the guard pass. You're supposed to wait 3 seconds before you get your 2 points, and then you can establish, or then you get your points, and then you go to a mount, right? Like, but here he hastily tried to skip over to the mount, and he would have completely negated the passing points.
Yeah. Joe, are you talking about what you guys are doing up here in the corner right now? Which move were you guys practicing? Or are you talking about, like, what Mike and I are talking about? I don't want to zip past it if it's something worth talking about. See James's sit up from that position. Kind of like the position we were talking about over ADCC, that like reverse tight waist.
Yep.
Except we saw a lot of people trying that and failing pretty bad and getting armbarred. Different.
Yeah, that's how Sideboard got armbarred.
Yeah.
Exactly.
From back control to armbar. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, right there. Yeah, so that's a great move for when you're on somebody's back, you are control side down, strangle side up, and you can't manage to like get to the rear naked strangle. It's a great move. I absolutely love that. And when you like whip the leg over the head, if you're training with someone who doesn't mind getting beat up a little bit, whipping that leg down across their face and putting them to the back, or putting their back to the mat, can be really effective. Just got to make sure you get your body side leg up with the other leg. Get to the position where you're going to control the shoulders, or switch to a 3/4 arm bar, or whatever variation you like. So for all the picking on Danny we did, he ended up finishing the round in a pretty solid place here.
Yep.
Got to keep cutting that angle on that takedown, Danny. I think Doug and Austin are back at it again. Duncan and Danny each had a chance to hit an Uchimata here to finish that little scramble. I think if Duncan could have whipped his leg back in front of Danny's, he could have done well with the upper body grip that he had, right? If he could elevate Danny's legs. And then Danny, I mean, it's kind of 50-50. Like,
Danny has the underhook here. Yeah, so like he's gonna win since Duncan's behind him.
Yeah, just about had the Uchi. Instead settles for a bulldog choke. I think it may have been Danny's first class ever. I was a blue belt. We were getting ready for a competition. It was like that weekend. Danny comes in and we're just, we're rolling around introducing him to jiu-jitsu. And he puts me in a bulldog strangle and I almost could not get out of it. And I was like, I have a competition this weekend and this guy off the street just about strangled me. Like, I'm going to do so bad. I was like, I am not ready for this competition. I don't remember what ended up happening, but it was just like, damn, that was a wake-up call. Leaving my neck out. Danny was also considerably heavier at that point too, which didn't help my case.
Yeah, I forgot when Danny came in. He was bigger.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the guys who started training, lost a bunch of weight.
Duncan just sat up too.
Let's see that's just symptomatic of Danny getting a little overextended, I think.
Mm-hmm.
See, Austin back in his hip bump position. Doug might be a little wise to it. Is it? Oh, Joe and Steven. Okay. James putting the pressure on Caleb here. There we go, James. All right. I think James has the underhook. I don't see Caleb's arm doing anything here. Digging for double unders, possibly. Yeah, that's a tough spot. Digging up, like, James, next time you're playing around with that mount and going for double unders, focus on getting one arm all the way up, and hug it to the head. Then you can have an easier time getting the second arm. Like if one arm is just like in line with the shoulders, you know, they can pull it down. They disrupt your base. It makes it difficult for you to dig on the remaining arm. Try to focus on one arm first and then go back for the second. I find that to be a lot easier if you want to establish a double underhook position from mount. And then it also leaves you with the choice of just switching to like the arm triangle. One for both at the same. Yeah, exactly. That's common. I mean, it's totally reasonable that happen. Anything fancy happening here? It looked like Joe and Steven had a nice scramble off camera.
Yeah, they kept going off.
Duncan would be better suited to just letting that head go at that point. But yeah, James, further to that point, once you get the arm all the way up, the first arm all the way up, you can use like not just, you know, the deep underhook, you know, palm to the side of their head, but you can use your chest to like point their face into their arm and make it that much more difficult, and that much more difficult for them to get their arm down and their head free. But it also frees up your other arm, so you know, you're wedging with like one arm in your chest, and then it leaves your other arm free to be more effective.
Cole had the gut wrench on Duncan there twice.
Yeah, he had double unders again, but from the back this time. So like if he had a strangle arm in, he could have hit like an anaconda from there, or even a triangle. Good balance from Cole. Steven was working that single leg. What did Duncan just do? Nice. So he's got the underhook. Duncan has the underhook. Plants his foot. Cole doesn't get his leg out in time to stop that, but Duncan leaves himself open for a really tight guillotine. Let's see where is it. So yeah, Duncan basically puts his head into like a terrible guillotine position there. Great sweep. Even better submission. He knows it too. He looks so bummed. He's like, damn, I can't believe I did that.
Who's in the electric chair? And who's giving the electric chair?
Some poor sucker.
I think
James or
Yep.
James is doing the electric chair.
Yeah.
Ooh. It looks uncomfortable. It doesn't look totally stretched out, but not fun. James is really trying. There we go.
You gotta heist up. I was gonna say you gotta heist up.
Yeah, and like even I was gonna say if it didn't work, which I thought he was gonna heist up and then use it to pass. Mm-hmm. So if it doesn't, you could shuck that top leg off and start to try to take the back.
You actually have quite a lot of knee pressure that you can put on that top leg too. He was holding your head. Okay. But for that top leg, when you have your grip over top of the leg and the leg is coming across, right? So the foot would be going like towards the back of your head. If you drive your arms across and drive your head into the knee, you can put a lot of torque on the knee. It'd be kind of like reaping with your arms. Think of it like that. That's the way that I learned the electric chair way back when. Like way back now. Damn.
Back when you thought 10th Planet videos were like innovative.
Hey man, shit worked at white and blue belt. Yeah. But yeah, like that, right? And then you heist up, you can put pressure on the groin, and then at the very least, you got somebody who's really flexible or whatever. You've got the pass around the backside.
No shade to 10th Planet. Saw a bunch of those guys at ADCC. Saw Eddie Bravo a whole bunch. Ben Eddy.
Yeah, that's right.
Keith Gregorian.
Yeah. Man, I really was hoping that Keith was gonna do better.
Yeah, he's like been a fighter for so long, trying to get to ADCC. He lost to Nicky Ryan in the trials, like at the last ADCC trials. Not the one for this year, but the previous one.
2018, I guess. Yeah.
19. Because it was 3 years ago because of COVID. That pushed everything. This should have been ADCC 2021, but it got pushed a year. So. Right,
but yeah, so trials would have been 2018.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, so he's been. What was that?
PJ Barch made it really, really far. He had a hell of a showing, especially his match against JT.
Yeah,
that was really awesome.
Just wanted to see what Steven did. Got the rear naked. And it looks like he slipped onto the chin pretty early on that. I appreciate Brandon tapping relatively early on a lot of these submissions we see him get caught in.
It's smart. Like, I can't express how smart that is.
Yeah, like it's not something you can encourage people to do either. It's just like they're gonna do it or they won't.
Yep.
Let's slow down that Uchimata.
It was an underhook, and then he pressures down on the head with a collar tie.
Yeah. So this is, fine, it works. If you really want to launch somebody from here, Steven, I want to see you get your foot in a little bit closer, and I want to see you lower your level a bit. And if I can get up to school tomorrow, I'll try to remember to go over that. You got to think about like getting your hips way lower than your opponent and getting as far underneath them as you can, like reasonably far. Like your hamstring is going to do the lifting, but if you can use this leg to spring up as your hamstring is doing the lifting, like you can really get like a nice toss that is going to be difficult for people to re-roll you with.
It was a high wrist guillotine.
From James.
James.
Arm
Yeah,
in.
wrist.
Oh no, yeah, he switched. Okay.
He switched it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really nice. Yeah, the just a point of note with, like, I like what James did. You know, he noticed here that he could switch to the no arm guillotine, the standard guillotine. Like if you have a feeling like if your opponent has their hand down closer to your hips, then like a high underhook that's going to be difficult to dig under, that's where say why hold the arm in, like let me just switch, he's giving me all the space. So Joe had, you know, you could see Joe's elbow is kind of low here, so James took the opportunity to switch to a much tighter guillotine grip. So really, really good adaptation. Stephen with another strangle. Yeah, Joe, I think you know your mistake there. There's zero reason to reach around for that leg. You're just letting James trap it. Very lucky to have gotten out of that. Well, not really out yet, but getting your nutsack stretched again. Oh, good counter.
Yeah. Going for
took,
leg.
Yeah. Not bad. Not a bad attempt. What's Austin got here? Austin's got a reverse triangle.
Got it.
Let's see that setup. So with Caleb in side control. It's funny because it looks like Caleb starts to disrupt, like with his trapped arm, that left arm. I thought it looked like he was kind of disrupting the leg grip here, but I guess not. Does Austin shift here? I want to see if he gets his knee below the ear. I guess he didn't have to. It's close enough. Joe calling out Cole. So I just want to point out, we'll get there in a second. Really upright stance from both of you here. You don't want to get too low, right? That's how you get, you know, easy guillotines and stuff. But you don't want to be that high either, just for the concern about, you know, legs being really open and getting shot on. Didn't look like a comfortable takedown though, for Cole. Good movement from Caleb there under the chat. Damn. Gets caught in another. He's like, I was just here 1 minute ago. See if Danny can finish it. It looks like he's slipping his head out.
Yeah, he needs to push on that knee. Left arm to left knee.
Yeah, Danny's knee is pretty high there. I don't think he'll get the strangle. Yeah.
There it is.
What do we miss over here? What?
The perching that was just going on before you rewound it.
Was it Joe?
Danny.
Oh. Let's see, Steven and Austin. And Joe. Let's... So even though Cole's still not out of danger just yet, there's Danny. I totally missed him putting his arms up. So even though Cole wasn't out of the woods yet here, the big takeaway from what's going on with him and Joe is Cole is doing everything he can to win as much inside position as possible. Take it back a little bit further here. So right here, like, his hands are connected. He's keeping really tight frame on Joe's legs to try to disrupt any sort of closed loop that Joe can establish around him. And now he's gotten Joe off balance enough to where he can start to heist up, and he takes him out. Okay.
Even got the strangle. It's hard to see the hand position.
Yeah. Joe, this would be
Caleb's got a lockdown.
What was that?
Said Caleb has Danny in a lockdown. See how Danny handles that.
Almost. So Caleb doesn't have he doesn't have that leg underneath Danny's ankle.
Okay.
So he's got his leg like triangled, but he doesn't have the extension on it. That's I think Einstein came up with that equation.
Yeah.
Steven gets a straight ankle. All right, bear hugging here. Good. Stop doing that. But you don't necessarily want to do that either. You want to get in on the hips, start creating some tension, put some tension through your arms, push into his hips, and get your hips moving. Yeah, there we go, just like that. Pull your knees up. Don't want to do that. So James, you might see here with what Cole's doing to Joe. I don't know if Cole's going to go for the second underhook here, but that's the level of control you can establish with the first arm, not with the head on the outside, more with your chest on the outside. But that's the kind of control you can establish before you start getting to the second underhook.
It was a good round.
Fun round. Let's see what these two jokers do. Looks like they're slow dancing in middle school.
I'm trying to figure out where the hell we are. Who filmed?
Oh, I think this was when I went up to the school and dropped my camera off. That's why Steven was checking to make sure that it was on before class. So I was sick that week.
Gotcha.
And for whatever reason, that was a Monday you weren't there for. All right. Some fanciness here. All right, so Steven's at a bottom half guard. No underhooks established between the two of them yet. Steven has inside position. Gets the elevation. It comes out on a nicely reaped outside heel hook. I wish I could see where Cole's, how his other leg, if it's trapped or what. Because it looks like it was pulled close to his butt.
Yeah.
So he couldn't really use it to escape. I think this is a case of when Cole's doing a tight face grip instead of the tight waist. Is Joe on Danny's back or Danny on Joe's back? I'm gonna rewind here. Oh, it's James. Okay. Ever since I took it off 1080p, I can never tell. All right, so Joe is starting on James's back. Got it. Body lock attempt from Steven here, but you could see Cole was not having it. Yeah, you got to get your opponent flattened out to the mat to start working that. Cole took it as an opportunity very wisely to hit the sweep here. He's blocking outside the elbow. I assume he has the butterfly hook. Yep. And hits a really solid sweep.
What I'm also learning is that your head should be very, very much centered on the body when you attempt to establish your body lock. So having your head not, or like side on or like on one side or the other, opens you up for the availability of sweeps and guillotines. That was a slick recovery,
yeah,
Steven.
So if Cole slips his head here, he leaves that arm in for a possible shoulder crunch. Really nice
Yep.
slide by. Not a super dynamic one as you can sometimes see with like a big shoulder shrug. Doesn't always have to be. You see Cole starts getting his head over Steven's. Steven starts flanking him here once he gets that arm across and is immediately in on a strangle threat. I don't think he has an underhook. He may have established one. It looks like he's trying to. He's got a little short choke.
Short choke. Yeah.
Ooh, good switch. Nice. That was sick. Let's look at it at regular speed. I love how he punches that across. Like the whole finger walking thing where you're kind of like crawling your hand across works great. But when you get to about here, no need to keep slowly tracking through. Like shoot that thing across. Get to hide your hand. Cole didn't have a chance to get to grab Steven's knuckle line there. Steven acted quickly enough to cover everything. That was solid.
Yeah, that was slick.
elbowing him in the ear. Grip it and rip it. Damn. Steven pretty easily got around there after a little bit of trouble. I'm going to zoom ahead because they're... I assume Steven got something. And those two were just drilling.
James is diligently working bottom.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
He works top enough from pinning us all. That was a nice little attempt for the Kimura. James, since we've seen you shooting to deep half as much in this session as you have been, from here, like there's no reason to like not shoot it just because you've been doing it a bunch, but this like you know, kind of front headlock setup that you're working, if Steven passes your guard, it just doesn't end well for you, right? Because that front headlock means nothing in side control, and Steven's going to look to pass to that way immediately. I would just say, like, frame, create your space, keep working that either that deep half, or, you know, if Steven disengages, start working to your open guard. But I don't see much of a benefit in working to that front headlock in that position, because now you've got to just create space again and you know, work from side control or a very loose half guard if he hasn't passed it yet. This is a really nice tussle between the two of them here, with Steven trying to work that body lock and James figuring out how to disrupt it. Looks like everybody wrapped up for the evening.
Yeah.
Nice, about halfway there. Yeah. A little too much sweat on the mat probably at that point. Almost with the knee cut pass. Kind of just illustrates why it's important to have some control over that top leg, to keep them from being able to track you when you're trying to knee cut.
Mm-hmm.
Almost.
It was slippery for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and like as soon as you move, you just drag your slime trail with you. So it's dry for like 10 seconds and then you're slipping again. I can't imagine if we had Dolomer mats.
Dude,
like,
yeah.
The rollout mats, those things, just so much more slippery for some reason. So the Flying Kimura Pass. If you can establish that Kimura grip before the cartwheel, or like almost before the cartwheel, works really well. There's no reason that that's not a legitimate pass. Ooh,
I'm sick.
Damn, dude. Almost got the Kimura trap right at the end.
Slippery.
Yeah, really great. Cool. I'm glad we got to go over that footage. I don't think I ever watched it since I wasn't there. I just kind of pieced it together and put it in the archive. So cool. That was a look back at almost exactly a month ago. So I'm sure you guys can see some ways you've probably progressed since then, I hope. We've got, what is it? We got in Greensboro this weekend. I think some of the kids will be doing the good fight, submission only. So best of luck to all of them. I know some of the boys have been training super hard, getting ready. And then we've got some of our guys going to Spartanburg for New Breeds, Carolina Crystal Cup or whatever that is. Same day on Saturday. So if you guys are training this week, don't injure them. They know who they are. I guess I don't need to be secretive about it. There's just so much footage of us out there now. If any of our like potential competitors ever watched it, there's like so many hours of footage. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
In any case, we'll hopefully get some good footage from the competition and cover that maybe next Wednesday. So in the meantime, give us your Twitch Prime. That always helps. We really appreciate the subscriptions. Follow us if you're lurking, if you like what you're seeing, if you have questions about jiu-jitsu, anything like that. We're always happy to help you guys learn. And then any questions at class, I'm going to try to be there tomorrow. I can't promise anything, but definitely anything you guys want to tighten up before competition or just in general, we can go over it, either Mike or I. So in the meantime, you can catch us on YouTube and on Twitch. And what else? Anything else? Go watch some ADCC.
Yeah, sharpen up on that. Yep.
Flow Grappling is posting like a bunch of the matches on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. And if Flow Grappling's not, someone else is. So go watch them. There was so much good stuff. And yeah, in any case, we will see you guys back on the mats. Trim your nails, do your laundry, do not be stinky. We'll see you guys there.
Later.
See ya.